Welcome to the 2024 Inktober.
This video is going to cover my personal favorite Inktober prompts. If you want to see a speed draw of every prompt, check the link in the description. If you want to support the channel, please like and subscribe and consider leaving a comment. I really like the armor design for the base ISAO soldier, and it was an interesting challenge to draw someone holding a pair of binoculars. One thing you'll see me struggle with in this is trying to fit the hand around the binoculars with the sergeant's helmet cap in the way. Eventually I just resort to putting his index finger on the cap rather than under it. One thing you'll notice is that I do backgrounds in kind of a weird way, where I paint it in and figure it out as I go. For this scene in particular, I thought it would be cool if he was scouting a forest area, and it inspired me to make the forest lighting into those cool god rays you sometimes see. And I think the end result turned out pretty cool. For Trek, I wanted to show the Special Forces operation an Ether Knight might be tasked with, so I drew someone we'd already seen, Sir Erevis Castier. He's in this video. You know, as a fun little Easter egg. One cool idea I had for Ether Knights would be enhancement sigils, little pieces of paper and arcane crystal that would be placed on the armor for specific missions. For instance, in this scene, Sir Erevis is pushing through a harsh blizzard, but if you notice on his chest plate, there's a small sigil. Presumably, it's a sigil of protection from cold or snow, to assure that he is unbothered by the raging blizzards of Horror God. So for this piece, I started off by using a reference that for the life of me I cannot find. I don't know where it went, and if I find it, I'll link it down in the description. I did change the original pose and turn it into Nicole climbing up a cliffside, toughening up her endurance as a somatomancer. She usually likes to challenge herself physically, so that way she could always support her team no matter what happens on the field. I really do enjoy drawing these characters in their everyday tasks and scenarios. Speaking of new characters, introducing Shen Huan, one of the 3 Grandmasters of the Monastery of Magic, the headmaster of the School of Arcanomancy, and a close friend of Zane's. His job is to investigate and collect arcane objects and artifacts from around the galaxy, and is often sharing his arcane knowledge to organizations like Mage and Cast. His advanced knowledge of Arcanomancy is enhanced by his immense knowledge of psychology and the sentient mind. As he was, and still is, a licensed therapist. The therapy is now his side job, but is always willing to help anyone who needs it. As for his design, the deer skull mask is supposed to be the Chinese symbol of longevity and prosperity, and I do know that's supposed to be deer in general, and not necessarily deer skulls, but it would be way more messed up if he had a deerskin mask instead. His caplet, which is this over-the-shoulder half-cloak thing, is what ranks him as a Grandmaster. You see this on Zane's design as well, but here the symbol is a circle rather than a diamond to show the difference between the 2 schools. The Ethereal Tome is the main guidebook for all Ether Knights. Its doctrines and tenets teach Ether Knights how they are to behave, organize, and protect humanity. Written by Archknight Lady Eleanor Weaver, her writings have had an immense effect on how the Ether Knights act, and as such, how they are perceived by the public, now seen as protectors of humanity rather than a threat to it. The Ether Knight's ability to act outside of the orders of the ISAO makes it a contingency in case something happens to the ISAO, and vice versa. For Grungy, I wanted to get a bit more visceral, so I drew the Dragon Touch during the Great Astrobellum. Here we see him at the Battle of Paragon 5, where the first war behemoth was unveiled by the Golden Consortium. He was deployed after the failure of a nuclear strike on the war behemoth. The resulting ground battle was horrible, as with the constant fire from the war behemoth and the nuclear fallout causing black rain to pour miles away, the casualty rate was in the millions. And in the middle of this, making its way towards the behemoth, ripping apart any consortium soldier he could see, was the Dragon Touch of Acheron. A while back, I had come up with the armor design and role for my shock troopers, but I had yet to give them an actual name. Eventually, I came up with the Orbit to Ground Assault Troopers. And here we see a squad led by Commander Anastasia Sokolova, setting up camp after their first assault on the planet Aramor. I like this drawing a lot. It's fun to see soldiers in non-combat situations. This one I really like as well. For this, I redesigned the Arcano Technician uniform, and I think it really cooked here. It looks way cleaner, the design overall looks more unified, and there's a nice flow to it. In the context of the actual scene, this is a Navigator. They have the job of maintaining the interstellar arcane navigation system, and they are its backup in case of a system failure. And that concludes this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.